Hello, and welcome to Yarning Over the Days, Episode 6. My name is Constance, and I want to take the time to welcome any new viewers and also any returning viewers. And I'm coming to you from Columbia, South Carolina, here in the United States. And this is a podcast all about my knitting, sewing, and crochet. And so you can also find me at Ravelry and on Instagram as cleocmc, that's CLEOCMC. And I also have a blog, yarningoverthedays.wordpress.com, where I keep the show notes. So without further ado, I just want to go ahead and get started. I'm actually filming a few days earlier than usual. I'll be doing a lot of traveling up and down the road this week, and I know that I won't have time to get to record a podcast on Sunday because I'll be traveling back to South Carolina. So I just figured I record at the best time, and that's today. And so, because I just wanted to come to you and not have too much of a break. So I just wanted to go ahead and get started on today's episode. It's not going to be as long, I don't think, as the previous episodes, but I still have quite a bit to share. So I just want to go ahead and get started. Okay. So I'll first start with the finished objects. And they're all sewing projects, so our sewing projects were finished. And also we'll then move into the works in progress. Then I'll move into the acquired treasures and just maybe some general chatter, probably not much. So let's get started. So last episode, I was talking with you, I was telling you that I enjoyed making this pattern here. And this is Butterick 4685, and it's just a quick, fast and easy pattern of peasant blouses. So in the previous episode, I finished 3 of the peasant blouses, and I had another one in progress, and I did finish that in progress peasant blouse. So the last episode, I wasn't sure if I was going to add the rib rack or not, but as you can see, I decided to go ahead and add the rib rack, and I'm so happy that I did. I think it's a nice effect on this simple white blouse. And this version, I did make version C of the pattern, and I kept everything pretty much the same, except I did square the bottom of the blouse instead of going for that rounded bottom or hem that they had. And I'm really pleased with it. It's just a perfect summer top, and I think it could be worn also again even in the winter with a nice thick cardigan over it, such as my green Agatha cardigan, which I'll probably wear like that in the winter. And I had lunch with my classmate yesterday, classmate/friend, and it was so hot. And we were having lunch on the campus, so I walked over there from my place since it's not far. And the weather was so hot. It was excruciatingly hot. It was like in the upper 90s, and if they said that it would feel like 104. And oh my goodness, it did feel really, really hot. So I just wore this top with some jeans and sandals, and it was just a perfect, cool, breezy top that let the air just flow. It's just nice wearing a nice lightweight cotton top, and it was just perfect. And had a great lunch and great chit chat with a friend, and we're getting ready and getting excited about the upcoming semester. So that was fun. Then I was telling you all that I recently ordered Tilly and the Buttons Bettine dress, because I wanted to have like a nice, simple, easy cotton dress that I could just throw over my head and wear whenever I was just going somewhere quickly, doing quick runs and errands and grocery shopping. And this project really fit the bill. Let me tell you, I finished 2 Bettines, and I have worn them. Yes, I've worn each of them twice already, because they're just so easy just to wear. And then also when I was traveling back to South Carolina from Alabama, I wore the Bettine dress, and it's just a perfect travel outfit. I'm really pleased with this pattern. Again, this is the Bettine dress by Tilly and the Buttons, and I'll start talking about them. I'm actually wearing one. As you can see, this is the first batine dress that I made. And I made it out of this pink cotton. I believe it's quilting cotton that I purchased from Joann's. It was at a really good sale price, $2.99 per yard. So that's always a good thing. And I like that it was simple. The print was very simple, yet, I'll get up. You see it kind of has little, they look like mountains to me, but you could say triangles, little white triangles are mountains. And I thought it was a nice simple print that could go well with it. And then also pink is my favorite color, and I don't have enough clothes in pink. And so I figured I'd make something pink since it's my favorite color, and I've really been enjoying this pattern, this pattern, this dress. I didn't make any major modifications. I did add an inch to the hem, and I'm so pleased that I did because it still comes about an inch above my knee. So I think that it would have been quite short if I hadn't have added that inch. So yeah, other than that, I can't say anything else. Oh, I wasn't sure about adding the pockets. And at first I wasn't going to add the pockets. But then I was looking at a YouTube video, and they were just doing a review of this pattern, and she was like, if you are making this, you need to make sure to add the pockets. And she's like, they're nice deep pockets, and I'm so happy that I did, and they are very deep. Let me see. I don't know if you can see, well, it's hard for me to show, but they're quite deep, the pockets. And it's just a simple pull over your head dress. And I did go for the cuffed sleeves, which I like that detail a lot. It's so simple, yet it's such a nice effect. And it's just an elasticated waist. And it's a really comfortable elasticated waist. It's not like uncomfortable or cinching me in uncomfortably. So it's just a really nice, easy dress, and I'm really pleased with it. I was so pleased with it that I immediately made another. And I used the same, it's the same fabric. And also I meant to say before I get into talking about the new batine dress, the other batine dress, that I will insert a picture of the batine dress here, the pink batine dress, so you can see how it looks here. Okay, so then I made a black version of the batine dress. It's the exact same print as you can see. The only thing different is that it's black, but it still has the little peaks, and I like it quite a lot. I kept everything exactly the same. I added an inch to the hem. I added those pockets, and everything else is the same. I didn't add the button tabs that is featured on the pattern for these versions. I just kept with the cuff sleeves, which I like a lot. And again, the same thing for this black version. I kept everything the same. I will say my understitching on my pocket wasn't quite as neat. It's on this side. It's kind of showing a bit, but I'm not going to worry about it, and I don't think that I'll even notice it after a while. It's just something that I noticed when I was creating the dress. So yes, I'm really pleased with that. As always, I'm really pleased with Tilly's patterns. They never fail. The packaging, first of all, is just beautiful, and also the instruction booklets that go along with the pattern. They're so clear and so direct. It's like you have someone right there next to you, just helping you throughout the entire process of creating the dress. And it was just a fun pattern to create, and I created both dresses within a day each. I meant, and not two dresses in a day, but I did one day and another the other day. And so yes, and I actually plan to make more of these, and I'll talk about one in works in progress. So that concludes the finished objects for this episode, and I will now get into my works in progress. I actually finished the back to my Vivian sweater, which I'm so happy about. It's not moving along. I haven't had as much time as I've wanted with this pattern, and with this project, but I'm still happy with at the pace that it's going at. So now I have my, yes, this is my front. And I know the front because the front has the buttonholes here at the top. And here's my back. And how the pattern is made, I would, like the back would of course go in the back, but then they have buttonholes here in the front, and I would put buttons over the back that's connecting everything. It's such a nice vintage, elegant effect, and I like it a lot. So happy that I am done with that. And it's funny because I actually noticed that I was short a row of the back portion, and at first I was trying to say, oh, it's not going to matter, I'm not going to worry about it, and because I was thinking it's not as if anyone would notice, and it's in the back, and I was just short a row here. After this purple band section, I should have worked another gray row of just knit stitch, and I tried to ignore it, but I couldn't. I slept on it and I still didn't like it, so I actually ripped back to that part, just that ribbing in that row, which was no big deal, and then I just added that extra row and the ribbing, and now I just have a better peace of mind. It was really bothering me. So I'm happy I did that. And so now, since I finished the front and back, I did get a little done on my sleeve. My yarn is tangled. Okay. Yes, I got just a little done with my sleeve. And I'm not sure if I will get to work on this much this week. As I said, I'll be traveling. Then when I get back, I have a paper due, a final that week. And yes, I've started my new job. And then the semester is ending. The summer semester is ending. And then the fall semester is beginning. So it's quite a bit. And I figured that as the fall semester starts, I wouldn't just have as much time to craft as I did during the summer, because during the summer I was just taking one class at a time. Having the fall, I'm taking a full load, and I'm also working a job. So there was not going to be as much crafting time. It's probably going to be a lot more sock knitting, because those are the projects I like to carry with me when I'm in school. But I still hope that I'm able to get a lot of sewing done, because I've been enjoying sewing so much this summer. Having that extra time just to sew and create dresses and tops and blouses. Oh, it's been so much fun. Even though I didn't take a vacation this summer, it was like this craft or sewing vacation that I just thoroughly enjoyed. So I'm hoping that even if I don't have as much time to sew in the semester, that I'll find some time to create some items and to sew. And maybe there'll be more Tilly and the Buttons, definitely more Tilly and the Buttons patterns in my future, because her patterns work up super quickly and nicely, and I know that working up those patterns, they won't give me any problems or issues, and it'll be a nice in-between project throughout the semester. But I digress from my finished objects. And that's good. But that's what I've done so far on Vivian sweater, and I'm quite pleased with it. And I'm actually really excited about wearing this sweater with my pinafore dresses, because I tried my other Vivian sweater on with my denim pinafore dress, and I like the look of that. It was a really nice look. So I'm happy to know that that's a versatile piece. So while I could wear it with pants and jeans and skirts, it looks good also under pinafore dresses. And I did get a bit done with my moonlit shawl. It's been a nice project when I just don't have much time to really, I don't want to think much about a project. But this is my moonlit shawl. And as I've told you before, I finished one in cream, and I did give it to my mother when they came here on Monday. And so I gave that to my mother, and so this version is for me, and I cannot wait to finish it. Oh, I did go down a hook size this time around, because you remember I ran out of yarn near the end of the project for the other moonlit shawl, and this is the moonlit shawl by Sandra Paul of Cherry Heart Podcast and cherryheart.co.uk. And so it's a nice pattern, and it's looking very simple right now. However, it has this beautiful lace edging, and that's really a nice fun addition and detail to the pattern. So I've been working on it off and on. I worked on it some last night. I took my parents, they're at a church conference in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's not far from here, about an hour and a half drive. And so I drove them there from Columbia, and while I decided to stay the night. First I was going to travel back that night, but then I thought that'd be too much. So I just traveled back the next morning. But I worked on this project while looking at some knitting podcasts. I was actually looking at Aiden. I was telling you about him the last episode. He asked the question. I was telling you about his great Instagram and blog. Well, now he started a podcast, and it's so great. I really enjoyed the first episode. So I was looking at his first episode, and his podcast is Knitting Monk. And it's here on YouTube. So just type in Knitting Monk, and you should be able to find it. And I looked at it while working on this, and it's just a perfect pattern to work on while you're just trying to relax and take it easy. And that's exactly what I was doing. And so I just did that while I was in my parents' hotel room, and I'm really pleased with how it's going so far, and I'll update you all on that in the future. Okay, and now we're into the final work in progress, and I think I hinted that I'm working on another batine dress. Yes, I like this pattern a lot. So, well, yeah, it's the same pattern. And this time around, I'm going for a kind of bright color. Okay, a very bright color. And it's orange. And I like this orange. It's so bright. It's just really nice. It's been sitting in my stash. I bought this fabric from Joann's about 2 years ago in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I remember buying it to have, I wanted to make a fall dress, and I always thought that orange looks great in the fall with like a gold sweater or something. And I think I originally intended to make a Simplicity, I think 2444 with this, but then I thought it would be great for a batine dress, because since the color was so bright and fun, and my batine dresses are my typical just throw over your head and go, then I figured it'd be a nice fun pattern on color for when I'm just running my errands. My dad saw it and he's like, oh, it's quite bright. But I still like it. I like it a lot. Oh, let's see. And I think it'll be nice. This time around, I am adding that button tab, and I'm going to go with just some simple navy blue buttons. And I also changed the skirt this time around. I went for an A-line skirt instead of having that kind of pencil skirt or tulip shape to the skirt. Well, you can't see it, but let me see. As you can see, I went for an A-line skirt this time around. So I'm quite curious to see how that turns out. I hope it turns out nicely. And I'll keep you all up to date. I cut out all of the pieces, and they've just been sitting on my sewing table. I've even attached the interfacing already, but I just haven't actually sewn everything together yet, which I need to get to. But as I told you, it's a full week ahead, so I'm not sure when I'll get to sew on it. That's why I think I'll be doing more knitting this week. I have quite a bit of reading to do for my new position, just more reading on Giovanni Piranesi. And so knitting works with reading. It just works so well together. So I could see myself doing more knitting instead of more sewing. But I'll get to it eventually. Okay, just trying to put that up. So that concludes the works in progress. Oh my goodness, I feel like we're moving along so quickly. But let's just continue to keep it going. So now we're into the acquired treasures. I not hinted, but I think I did tell you last week that I took advantage of Tilly's summer sale, and I'm so happy that I did. I told you I purchased a Coco dress and also the Cleo dress patterns. And so we're going to talk about my acquired treasures this week. Super excited about them. So, I purchased the Cleo dress, and I absolutely love both versions of this. I like the longer length with the front pockets and that split. And I really adore that shorter length with that front pocket. And I feel like maybe the shorter length would be more flattering to my body type, because Tilly typically wears the shorter length, and she's 5'3" if I'm not mistaken, and I'm 5'2", and that length looks just perfect on her, especially when she wears it with tights. And so I would love to make that version, but then I really like the longer version so much with that split in the middle, and I was thinking it would look so cute how they styled it on the website with the Swedish clogs. I like that look a lot, and so I want to make the longer version and wear it with some Swedish clogs. So I don't know which version I want to make first. I'll probably make both versions, but it's just a matter of deciding which to make first. So I did, for example, I have some denim in my stash, and I think I showed it to you. I was planning on making a Hollyburn skirt out of that floral denim. But then I saw that this pattern only uses about 2 yards, and I have 2 yards of that fabric. And so maybe I could make the floral denim version into that longer length. And then I have some corduroy, which I'm going to show you in just a second, and make that shorter length. So I purchased this gorgeous, this just beautiful mauve, well, I don't know, it's kind of a pinkish purplish corduroy, and it's just so pretty. I don't wear purple much, but I like this purple, and I like that pink that's in there too. It's definitely, and I just think it's beautiful. And I even found some buttons to match it perfectly. Yes, I'm going for the button tabs instead of the dungaree clips. I'm not sure why. I just wanted to do the buttons, and I think that I may quite enjoy this pattern. If it's like the pattern dress and I may make more versions of it, then what I'll do is I'll just make another version one day with the dungaree clips. But for now, I just want to do the buttons, and I like how the buttons look on this longer version. It's just so pretty. So that's what I have planned. And I'm thinking maybe I'll do the shorter version with this corduroy. I think that would be nice. So I'm excited about that. And it'll be the perfect pinafore dress for the fall. So I'm excited. I keep saying I'm excited, but I'm so excited about it. I just love Tilly's patterns. And look at the packaging. And this packaging has little hearts in the background. I just think it's just lovely. And I get excited to work up her patterns. So maybe I'll be able to work it up. I don't know if I have time. Sometime in the semester, or maybe over the Labor Day weekend when that comes. And I also, my next acquired treasure is another Tilly and the buttons pattern. And it's the Coco dress and top. And I've seen so many lovely versions of this dress all over Instagram, all over Pinterest, and I've loved it for years. I've just never worked with knit fabrics. And again, when it comes to my sewing, I want to just not limit myself. And so I said, I'm sure it should not be too hard. And so many people had great success with making the Coco dress with their knit fabrics. And so I figured I'd give it a go. I took Tilly's advice. She suggested different types of fabric, and she said, I think it's called Ponte de Roma fabric. That's what she called it, but she suggested that was one of the suggestions for the fabric choices. So I went with that, and I ordered from fabric.com. And of course I had to go with the stripe. Okay? Because the Coco dress with stripes is just a match made in heaven. And so this project will probably, I'm challenging myself a bit. Not only with working with knit fabrics for the first time, but I'm hoping that I'm able to match up the stripes of my sleeves with the dress. And so I really want to do a great job with that. And I'll just read more on it on how to best do that, because I just really want to make that. And then also, instead of having that contrast patch pockets, which I think is just beautiful, I am going to go instead with the same fabric and rotate the stripes so that the stripes are, I think that the stripes on the dress are vertical. No, horizontal. Well, let me see when I cut it out. Well, I want the stripes on the pockets to be vertical. I do know that. Kind of like how they did with this top here. The stripes are going across, and then the pocket, the stripes are going up and down. So that would be really, really nice. And also, I ordered this fabric from fabric.com. And I ordered only, I think, 3 yards or 2.5 yards. It was something like that. I had to have ordered 2.5 yards. Yes, I ordered 2.5 yards. But they had a sticker on the package and it said, "Jackpot, you got the end of the boat." And so now I have, like, I think it was about, I measured it out. I think it was definitely more than 3 yards. It's a lot of fabric, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that. So I should have enough fabric left to make that top, which I would really like, because I love striped tops, black and white tops. And I would love to make my own, and then I could wear it under my Cleo dress and my other pinafore dress. So, and even if I don't have enough fabric, which I highly doubt, to make the long sleeve, then I could still make it maybe 3/4 length sleeves. Yeah. And I'm not going to go for the funnel neck. I just want it to be simple. So, that's that. Then I ordered some more, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Ponte de Roma fabric from fabric.com. And I hit the jackpot again, and I only ordered 2.5 yards, and then they gave me the rest, and I have quite a bit. So I'm going to do the same thing. And they call this fabric wrought iron bars or something like that. And I like it a lot, and I'm really feeling the black and white, as you can see. I like to wear black and white a lot, especially with my black and white loafers. So I think I'm going to make another dress, same thing, and then make a top also, just to have a dress and a top with the fabric. And black and white fits so nicely into my wardrobe, and it just fits seamlessly. So I think it will work nicely. And then I think it'll be quite versatile pieces. So I'm really excited about my new Tilly patterns. Yay! Now I want to talk about my final acquired treasure, which was completely unplanned. It was just crazy. I'm excited about it, and yes, it was a spur of the moment. So, as I've stated, my parents came and they spent the night with me on Monday. Yes, on Monday. And so on Tuesday morning, my mother, she wanted to go to the thrift store here. And I've never been to the thrift store here in Columbia, because every time I would pass by the Salvation Army, it would be so packed. Like, the parking lot would be full and people would be parking on the streets, and I just say, oh, it's not worth it. And I'm not the best person I'm not really good at parallel parking or any of that, so I just wouldn't do it. So we left the house around 9 something that morning after we had breakfast, and then we went to the Salvation Army. Well, they didn't open until 10 o'clock, so that worked out perfectly, because we got there about 9:45, and I was able to find a parking spot. And it was still about, oh my goodness, about 6 to 7 people were standing outside the door, and people were in their cars. I was like, oh my goodness, why is this thrift store so popular? And so since it was 15 minutes to opening, we just decided to wait in the car and just chatted and talked. And of course, it flew by. So then they opened, and my mom, she was just browsing around, and I wasn't really looking for anything for real. I was just there, and I did check out like the book section, but I didn't see anything much in it, anything at all. So I was just walking around aimlessly. Then I was just in the back section where they had like the couches and furniture and things, and I saw this sewing machine. It was just in the case, and I knew it was vintage and old, and it said $9.99. Yes, a sewing machine for $10. And I was like, oh, let me just check this out. So I took it out of the case, and it looked beautiful, like just in such pristine condition. And it was a Sears Kenmore, the version, and the model was 158.1410. Was it 1410? Yeah, 1410. 14101, 158.14101. So that's the model number. So I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is too good to be true. And on top of that, they had all of the accessories with the sewing machine in the case, taped to the case. So it had a buttonhole maker. It had the different presser feet. It had screws, screwdrivers. It had seam rippers. It had a bobbins case with different types of bobbins. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I was like, I don't know. I was like, I need to test this out, because $10 for all of this, why? I would at least expected it to be about $25. So I asked one of the associates in the store if they had an outlet and if I could test out the machine. So I plugged the machine up and I turned it on and the light bulb came on. I was like, oh, nice. I pressed the presser feet and it just started humming really nicely and beautifully, and the needles going up and down, and I was like, oh my goodness, it worked. So I was like, wow. So needless to say, I did purchase the sewing machine, and I was briefly arguing with myself like, oh, you're getting another machine in your small apartment, and I've been resisting purchasing the Surger because I didn't want to add another machine. But then I was like, $10 for such a, and then this machine is also heavy duty. It's definitely sturdier than my brother machine, and I figured that this would be a good sewing machine to work with denim fabric and also heavy corduroy. And then I also was thinking, one thing I've started doing recently is cutting up my scraps of fabric into squares, because I'm just going to make a scrappy quilt. And so I just thought that this machine would work well for those types of projects. So I got the sewing machine. I was so excited about it. The only thing missing was a manual. So I got home, and I love the internet and I love the online world, because I was able to, at first I found a manual on eBay that I was about to purchase, and it was $26. But then I went to this site and they had a version where I could download the manual, and I'd rather just download the manual because then I could play with the machine immediately. So I downloaded the manual and I purchased it, and it was at a much lower rate because it was a download version. It was $11. And then I looked at it was actually quite a few helpful YouTube videos of this same machine. Someone did a demonstration video. So yesterday I came home when I came back from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I plugged up the machine and I got started with, I learned how to thread it, which was simple, and pull up the bobbin and put the bobbin in. And I learned all of this by just looking at a YouTube demonstration video of the sewing machine. And again, the sewing machine, I think I said the model, but it's a Sears Kenmore 158.14101. So that's the model. And so I typed that in YouTube and I found the demonstration video. Oh, and this model was made in 1973. So I did find that out also. So I looked at the demonstration video and it was so clear. And I learned everything, and everything's going smoothly. And then I got to sewing, and I sewed the straight stitch. Oh, I don't have my scrap fabric in front of me, but I sewed the straight stitch with no problems. And I tried different with lengths of the stitch, and that was nice, and it worked well. Then I needed to try out the zigzag stitch, and actually I printed off the manual. I went to the print shop this morning and I printed it off, and they put it in the combs for me just to make it easier. But let me show you. So the machine is supposed to make all of these different types of stitches, but it wasn't doing anything except the straight stitch. It wasn't doing the zigzag or any of those other types of stitches. So I looked at another YouTube video, and they said that if your machine is not doing the zigzag stitch, then it's the timing is probably off. So I opened it up, and it's kind of hard to explain, but it's kind of this bar that moves the needle up and down. And I unscrewed that and loosened it, and I like took apart the bobbin case and then put it back together to see if the needle was meeting that hook in the bobbin case. And even though I did get it to meet eventually, it still wasn't doing the zigzag stitch. And so it wasn't working, and I really wanted the machine to have that capability, because as you know, the zigzag stitch is such a heavily used stitch, you know, especially when it comes to finishing your seams, and I wanted that function. So I figured it should not be a problem, and I called the sewing machine repair center here in town, and I've shopped there before, and I've gone there before. And so I called the company and I asked if they would be able to work on the machine and make it do the zigzag stitch again. And they actually talked with the guy who does the repairs, and he said it would be a while because he'll be traveling, but it's no rush for me because I have a machine. This is just a spur of the moment purchase. And they said I could bring it in, which I was so surprised about. I was like, what? Yay! So he said he would be willing to work on it. And so I brought it in, and then they said that the repair would probably cost $85, which is not bad at all. And so he said he would work on it, and in addition to working on it, he'll give it a deep cleaning and oiling, because I did that, but it was definitely spots I couldn't get to and get into. And so I'm happy that he's going to do that also. And hopefully he'll be able to give me that capability, that zigzag capability with this machine, and I'll be able to use it. And I did use the machine actually already, because I had actually had to mend this underarm of my bateen dress, and since it did do the straight stitch, then I did the straight stitch with and reinforced the seams with the reverse button, and it worked really beautifully and nicely. So I cannot wait to get that machine back. And so all in all, I think it's a really good deal. Okay, I have a vintage machine, which I absolutely love. It costs $10 for the the machine itself, and it costs, you will say, about $10 for the manual, and it's going to be $85 for the repair. So what's that, $105 for a machine? And so I think that's pretty good deal. Yeah. So that's my quiet treasure. And the machine is not here. However, I did film some footage of the machine before I took it to the sewing machine repair center, and I'll insert that here. Okay, well, that concludes today's episode. I don't have much chatter to talk about today. I will say that this has been quite a busy week for me. I've been traveling quite a bit up and down the roads from North Carolina to South Carolina to Alabama, and I'll be doing that for quite a while. My parents, they're attending a conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I went home to Alabama last week, And then we got on the road on Monday and came to South Carolina, and they stayed the night here. And then they checked into their hotel in Charlotte yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, it was on Tuesday. And so I still have to work and things like that, but then I'm going to go back up and we're going to travel back to Alabama on Saturday, and then I travel back to South Carolina on Sunday. So as you can see, my week is very full, quite a bit of driving and travel, and but it's all wonderful, and I love spending time with my parents, and it's always great, just good time spent with them, and I love it so much. So that's what I'll be doing this week. In addition to that, my summer class is coming to an end, and then the fall semester is about to come to a beginning. So that's going on also. So now it's just at that moment where I'm actually reorganizing my life and my schedule with the new changes with my new work schedule, and I have a new class schedule, and just trying to see also with my new schedule where my crafting time will fit in. So that's been going on in my life. But other than that, I don't have much chatter. I don't even have anything that's been catching my interest lately. So thank you for taking the time out to listen to this podcast. I look forward to seeing you in about 2 weeks. And I hope I have some lovely and wonderful things to show you. Bye-bye.